week's episode of the Dad Den Uncut. I, of course, am your lovely host, Matt. Doing the podcast release on Friday this week. This week has just been kind of crazy right now. So, day late, but nevertheless, still getting it out. So, as you can see, it's back to school time here. Eddie's starting preschool. Eddie's starting kindergarten. Today we had her kindergarten orientation, and tomorrow is her first day of kindergarten. Man, time flies by. It does. So this week has been just busy trying to get everything done and ready for her to go back to school, and of course with everything else that the life likes to throw at you. You know, work, house, bills, fatherhood, marriage, everything. So I did get the little one to sleep before this in her bed. So if I keep looking down, it's more so that I'm just kind of checking on her. So anyway, this is the whole back to school area here that my wife has set up. I will give 100% credit to her. I am not creative enough or on Pinterest enough to put all this together. She's got like clothes and everything to put out, calendar, stuff to hang, important stuff for school and whatnot, place for backpack, shoes. I think those are crafts. Yeah, so that is the back to school corner. Anyway, things I want to talk about is, again, kind of keeping it relevant to my life and what I'm currently going through and things we're dealing with now. Her going to kindergarten the last couple of days, taking a lot of time kind of reflecting on these last almost 5 years. You know, when she was born, I was 19 years old. Young, dumb, stubborn. Had to learn a lot to be a father. You know, everything that she had to grow up, at least the first couple of years, she had to grow up with, for what I can say, with me. You know, I had to grow up a little bit too. I can't speak on behalf of my wife. I don't know if she feels the same way or not. Haven't really had that kind of conversation with her. But the first couple of years at least, you know, as Daddy was baby, young toddler, and so on, as she was growing up, her father was too. And that's difficult for a little one, you know. And there's a dog here. Life of pets. She's sidetracked with some peanut butter and a Kong right now. But thinking back on this, it really makes you feel bad for the first child of the family. You know, the oldest. Maybe not in every scenario, but in particular this scenario here. Because her parents were so young. But, you know, I was the youngest of my family growing up. And so I never thought twice about what an experience of, you know, the oldest child, my oldest brother, or any of that really was. I didn't really think twice about how different their childhood would have been versus mine, right? But now as a father, and I see how she, you know, how she's growing up, and kind of the struggles that I deal with, and unfortunately, in many cases, as much as you try not to, the burdens that we carry or the stress that we carry or the mistakes that we make, your children carry that as well, right? As much as you really don't want to, you try to shelter them from it and try to kind of keep it away in some way, shape, or form. They're going to be affected by it. But where I'm going with this is the oldest child they're the guinea pig, right? And I'm noticing this a lot more now, especially like I said, it is reflecting kind of back on the last almost 5 years here of her growing up. But even the last couple of months, I've noticed it a little bit more, and kind of started to think about it more as I see how the things that we do with Gracie, the youngest, versus how we handle things with Addie. The oldest, they're as bad as it might be to say, but they're the ones where you make the mistakes and you learn from it, and you hope that you learn enough to the next one is better, right? I don't think there's a good way to put this conversation at all. I'm not trying to sit here and say that we completely messed up our daughter, not anything like that, but at 19, 20 years old, when I'm still growing up and maturing and learning more about myself, and I'm also trying to teach a baby, toddler, and kind of guide them in the right direction. There's a lot of mistakes that I surely made, whether it be the idea of what I thought parenting would be and what kind of father I would be versus reality, and how I handled certain situations, how I reacted to certain situations, how I reacted to temper tantrums. Mistakes are made, right? You go into parenting thinking, well, I don't want my kids to grow up to be that bratty child, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that they don't do it. Well, then when you try X, Y, and Z doesn't work. So, on to the next thing. So we try that, and it is just constantly learning. So then, when the next child comes around, you think back and be like, oh, you know what? I really kind of messed up there. Let's not make the same mistake twice. The definition of insanity is keep on doing the same thing expecting a different result. I'm not saying Addie's a bad kid at all. Whoever's watching this, don't take it that way. Addie's not a bad kid. And again, she's not ruined at all. I don't find her as my failure project. But the mistakes that I made with her, obviously I don't want to make again. That's the part of growing up and where I am now, is that I want to learn from those mistakes and better it, and also apply those back to Addie now and in the future. Even something from 6 months ago, if I made a mistake, that situation might arise again, whether it be from, I don't know, let's use an example here. Addie's coloring table is right next to the couch. I noticed one day that there was marker all over the couch. This is maybe a year ago. So obviously I want to keep our house and our things nice. I got upset, I got angry with her. I raised my voice to her and I took her markers away. I don't know when this happened. I don't know if this happened that day, or I don't know if this happened a week ago. But going into this is the first situation I've had where my child is coloring on something. She's never been the kid to write on walls or anything like that. We've never had to deal with that before. But in this firsthand situation like that, my reaction was that I got upset with her. And I punished her for something. It's almost like punishing a puppy that pissed in the ground but you don't know when the piss happened. Do you punish them for peeing on the ground when you just noticed it, when it could have been from 4 hours ago, or it could have been from 12 hours ago even? They don't remember what they did. You can't necessarily punish them for something like that. Now, then again, a 4-year-old child is a bit different than a puppy, but you kind of understand the concept. So, through that, obviously, she got upset. She's sitting there saying she's sorry and all that. And, she gets upset because I raised my voice at her. I then feel bad that I raised my voice at her, and then I start to think more logically of, oh, hey, she might not even know when she did that. It might have been an accident. It might not have been just right then and there. How should I have handled that situation differently? These are things that I'm talking about of mistakes that I've made, or ways that I've handled the situation poorly, that I need to remember and learn, so that if the situation arises again or something similar, we apply it to that, whether it be with Addie, Gracie, or so on. Think about it in another sense here. With your first baby, you fill up that baby registry with as much random crap you see from Babies R Us as you possibly can. Is that still a store? No, they closed. From, I don't know, Bye Bye Baby, say that. You fill up your registry with as much crap as possible from the store, and you get all this stuff, only to realize that a year later, when you're maybe cleaning out rooms, you're trying to get rid of some clutter, and you see stuff that's still in boxes because you never use it, because you realized, or worst case, you opened it, used it once, and realized, hey, I didn't really need this. This is kind of dumb. Why did I get this? So from the next child, you learn on that. You don't want to go out and spend money on something you're probably never going to use. That's another thing. I think it's weird if you have another baby shower if you have 2 kids. Personal opinion on that. But yeah, I'm not gonna go out for Gracie and say, I need to go buy all this crap from Target, even though I already knew that we went through with Addie and never touched it, or it didn't work. Okay, here's another example. With Addie, we cheaped out and we got just a normal basic baby monitor, just sound vibrating, that's it, right? It was functional. It was, it worked to an extent for what you need, but obviously there was limitations, and nowadays you want to keep an eye on the kid. So with Gracie, we went with the video monitor. Sure, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's something we felt was going to be more used and better off for us. Even if it's just minor things like this. But yeah, I really, all of you first childs, oldest childs out there, I'm sorry, guys. Like, you really all are the guinea pigs. You guys are all the ones where mom and dad just trial and error, see what works, and then it's the second and the third child that benefits from all the failures on it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But I do feel bad for Addie. I wish I was better for her when she was younger. I wish I might have been more mature, had my head on straight better while she was younger. But looking back, even if I was, do I think that I would have been, that those mistakes wouldn't have happened? I don't know. It's in the past. That's how many years ago. I have no clue if it would or wouldn't have happened, because the things that I'm doing now with, say, Gracie as a baby, I'm more so doing because I know it worked, or I know what didn't work from already going through it. Now, parenting doesn't necessarily get easier when you have a second child, or when you have multiple children. It doesn't get easier the more children you have. However, I personally feel that I'm more better equipped to handle problems with the younger one because I've lived and learned, right? Now, this is going to continue to happen, though. She's 5 years old. Over the next decade, let's say, as she gets older, more problems are gonna come about. Situations that I've obviously never dealt with. You know, when she's 13 years old, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of problems and situations that come about, whether it be from, I don't know, bullying in school to female issues and so on, that I have no clue how to handle these things. It's gonna be trial and error. You know, Addie, I love Addie to death. I do. She's the one that made me a father. And that's also why, you know, seeing her going to kindergarten, it's emotional to see. You know, the time goes by so fast, but Addie is my guinea pig. All you parents out there that have one child right now, just know that this right now is your guinea pig. That this is where the trial and error goes here. But here's the thing. You don't get a mulligan here. You can't just mess up and throw it away and say, oh, we're going to try again. That, not how it works. Not golf. Chip shot right into the water. Oh, let's throw another ball out. Yeah, no. Can't throw this ball out. She's still sleeping right upstairs there. You know? So I'm sorry for the rest of Addie's life that I'm going to probably continue to make a lot of mistakes. But the important part is that I sit there and I own up to those mistakes and I learn from the mistakes, and I don't make the same one twice. I've made multiple mistakes multiple times. As I mature and as I get older and I learn, that's a big thing, is that I one and done. Make a mistake, move on, learn from it. You know, don't keep on doing the same thing when you already know it's not the right way to do it. You know, parenting is constantly evolving. Every single day something new could come up that I've never dealt with before. Tomorrow, after she gets home from school, from kindergarten, or even in the next week, I'm sure there probably will be something that happens at school that she comes home with an issue with that I never had to deal with when she was in preschool. You know, people say little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. Gracie right now, she's 5 months old. This is the easiest time of parenthood. They hang out. If they're crying, there's probably one of, 4 things that's wrong. You know, they're overtired, they're hungry, they need a diaper change, or they just want to be held. Like, having a baby is not difficult, and I say that now. You know, obviously when Addie was a little baby and it was my first child, I would have told you a lot differently. But you know, after seeing how as Addie grows up and the issues that come about with her, now with Gracie, it's like right now she's the easy one. There's not too many things that could be wrong. Addie is at the age where, you know, she can have, she's conscious of her emotions and how she's feeling for the day. That's not something that I was ever prepared to deal with. Is deal with emotions. Hey, can you chew on that a little bit quieter? Rabbit. Thank you. All here is just anyway. What was I saying? Oh, the emotional things of an older child just broadens the set of problems or situations that could arise. For all of you parents out there right now that are first time parents, and your baby's just a couple months old, younger than, we'll say younger than a year and a half. 18 months, I think. 18 months to 2 years. That's right around that cutoff time. This is going to be the easiest part of your parenting experience. Let's call it that. It will be. Even twos. Everyone says the terrible twos. Twos aren't that bad. They really aren't. You know, something happens, they have a temper tantrum, 5-10 minutes, they're calmed down, you're good to go, carry on, right? But like 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, then you get into the, you know, holding grudges, and they remember things surprisingly very vividly. So we bought Addie this pack of cupcakes, right? The little Debbie, like zebra cake things. I think so, that's what it was. And they're in the cupboard for like a week. She knew about them. Every time I asked her if she wanted one, she never wanted one. So I was like, okay, she's not gonna eat them. So I helped myself to them, right? I think Tara had a couple too. Well, then one morning I finished the box, and I threw it in the trash. Addie comes downstairs and grabs, I don't know, like a Capri Sun or something, and she throws the wrapper away. I'm in the living room, so I'm like there, she's there, and I hear from out here her open the closet where the trash is, a sigh, and then the closet door slam, and she just yells out, "You ate my cupcakes?" I'm sitting there like having a cup of coffee and watching TV, and my jaw just dropped. I was like, oh crap, here we go. And it was just like an all-out just yelling. She came out of the living room just yelling at me, and I'm sitting there trying to tell her, like, Addie, we don't yell, you know, talk softly, your sister's upstairs sleeping and whatnot. But on the other hand, I'm also sitting there like, you know what, on the flip side, if they're my cupcakes and I came downstairs only to find out that someone else living in the house ate all my cupcakes, I'd probably be pretty upset too, right? So you know, these are the things that I mean, that as they get older, you know, sure, this is an issue of just eating someone's food, but when you have a 1-year-old or 2-year-old in the house, you can get away with, oh, you can't eat it, it's spicy, right? Everything's spicy. Well, that 5-year-old is going to be like, here, let me try it, and then eat everything. Or they're going to come downstairs and yell at you because you ate their last cupcake. Or they're going to ask for a bowl of cereal when you tell them that you finished off the milk that morning on your bowl of cereal. They're going to tell you, well, let's go to the store and go get some milk so I can have a bowl of cereal. Like, these are the things that I never thought that as having like a 4-year-old in the house that I would have had to be dealing with. You know, I thought maybe 10-year-old, 11-year-old, you know, I don't remember what I was like when I was 4 or 5 years old. I don't know. I asked my mom, she's like, oh, you were such a little angel. Well, a few things I do remember from when I was little is she chased me around the dining room table trying to spank me. So I don't know how much of an angel I really was, but yeah. Anyway. Sorry, Mom. Airing out the dirty laundry here. Oh, restart. No, remind me later. But yeah, I don't know. that's, I don't really have a whole big meaning here behind this week's episode. Just first time parents, don't be afraid to make mistakes, but learn from your mistakes. That could be the meaning here. Also, fully enjoy every single day that you have with your kids, because everyone says all these years go by fast. I was joking around it and kind of brushed that off until all of a sudden I'm sitting here realizing that my little brother's starting kindergarten tomorrow. You know, so yeah, enjoy it. And now as these last like 2 weeks, I'm sitting there, I'm playing on the floor with Gracie, and I look at her and she just smiles at me, and you know, I'm really trying to just absorb the moment, just take it all in, because in 2 months she's gonna be probably crawling around, and when I try to lay with her on the floor, and she's not gonna smile at me, she's gonna get up and probably scoot halfway across the room, right? She's already rolling around. The other day I caught her, I ran upstairs, she was playing on the floor, I ran upstairs to get something for Eddie. I come back down, she went all the way across the room to the clothes basket of newly folded clothes. And all of a sudden I see her like an arm reaching up, and she was grabbing the clothes and just pulling them down onto the ground. It's like, oh my god, I just folded those. So, I don't know. Parenthood gets fun, but interesting as they get older. Difficult, but enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it. So that's all I got for you guys here. Again, don't want to go too long here. Please, everyone, like, share, subscribe, all of these. You know, we gotta get these views up. Come on, you guys are slacking. Let's go. Yeah, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you don't like to sit here and watch my ugly mug talk to you, just watch it on podcast or on Podbean. You can download the episode. You can listen to it offline. You can turn your phone screen off and listen to it. Probably a lot easier for a lot of people. So check it out there. But that's it. We'll see everyone. Thanks.